From every strand on the line of your reel, to the rods, to the anglers, to the lures on the end of your hook, let's talk about those big bass here on Co-Angler's Corner with your hosts, Rob Welch and John Stoudinger.
How y'all are? Hey, Cajun Rob with you. Mr. John's a little under weather, so just be me and our good friend, Mr. Beau from Volta Power. How's it going, Beau?
It's going, brother man. Just another day of paradise.
Absolutely, man. I know you're a little warm over there out in your neck of the woods about right now.
Yeah, yesterday we had a little like scattered thunderstorms. It literally dropped about an inch and a half of rain here in like 30 seconds yesterday, and then the rest of the day was just disgusting.
Yeah, that humidity. Yeah, I was born and raised in South Louisiana, Mississippi, and humidity was like 90 to 100% all year. It was getting the shade and it's hotter.
No, you can have it.
Yeah, yeah, I hear you. I hear you, man. Well, for folks that didn't catch you've been on the show before, so the folks that didn't catch you the first time, I just do a quick intro and
Sure.
how you got into batteries and kind of your background real quick, if you don't care.
Absolutely. So my name is Beau Batton. My family owns a lithium battery company. Before we did that, we were battery installers for the battery guy. That's our company that our day-to-day stuff that we've been doing for the last 10 years. We got into the lithium business because some guy kicked my door in one day and he's like, "This is the best thing that you've ever seen." And I drank the Kool-Aid, and it's been lithium ever since. We've been installing it for multiple years. Not just me; I have a whole crew, and we just been doing it. We've been putting them in, and then like everything else, something's new. You have issues, and you start to figure out what the issues are, and then the manufacturers started becoming jerkheads, and so we're like, well, to salvage our reputation, I think we should develop our own and eliminate what we know doesn't work from other people's mistakes and implement some technology that's going to make it better than other people's and see what we can do. We developed the battery for about a year before we got our testers in. We just wanted to make sure it was dialed in, everything was good to go, and man, it has, I don't even know how to say it. It has outperformed our expectations, to say the least. And we just got our 16 volts in, so we're super excited about that. We just got them in the beginning of this week, at the end of last week, and man, it's just exciting. I know the 16 volts an East Coast thing, but guys here on the West Coast, man, a lot of the guys travel. Like we have like Josh Bertrand fishes the MLF, Roy Hawk fishes the MLF and the Super 60. And we got a couple of guys that travel to Texas for the Team Texas tournaments here locally, and just bouncing stuff off them. And that 16 volt seems to be the future. But me personally, I'd rather run 212s just because if something happens, I still have the option. But hey, I'm just the weekend warrior, so I don't.
Hey, each his own. Each his own.
That's it, man. Hey, you want to buy one? That's fine. I'd rather sell you two.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, man. That's great. But I thought it was cool how you kind of figured out what worked, what didn't work, like the fans and the little chargers and the relays. I think that was pretty cool.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, like when I'm out there sitting at a customer that just spent a good chunk of change with me, and he's staring at me, and I'm staring at the battery, and I'm on the phone with tech support, and it just got to the point where we need to be better. We can do better.
Oh yeah,
So we did it.
absolutely, man. I hats off to you, man. That's awesome.
Thanks,
And
man.
I thought it was neat. You was talking about guys with the older boats, like the older Rangers that used to have an AGMs. You got the weight plate. What was that you had?
Yeah, absolutely. They're weighted plates, right? So it'll fit anything up to a Group 31. It's made of steel, so it's got more weight to it because the batteries themselves, an AGM versus a lithium is like,
Yeah.
it's a pretty significant difference. You're going from 80 to 85 pounds, depending on brand, to 28.
Yeah.
So now don't get me wrong, the steel plates are not that much. You're still gonna have to shift around some like tackle weight, like maybe shift back some stuff. But every boat's different. Like I've got
Yeah.
I got guys in Rangers and Skeeters, and I've got a couple guys in Bass Cats, and every boat rides different. I mean, you ever owned a boat, you know that. So it's
Oh
just
yeah.
and then you set it up yourself. Like one of my pros even told me, he goes, "Dude, I had to just move everything around to get the weight shifted right, and then
Yeah.
next thing you know, I'm off out of the hole, and here we go."
Yeah, you got that sweet spot. I mean, like I said, every
Mhm.
hole's different, every boat's a little different, but you got that sweet spot. I mean, it's part of your motor and your hull and even your prop. I mean, that's a science in itself.
I mean, the jack plate alone, like if you run it there's so many different, like, it blows my mind. These guys are always complaining that, all fishermen are princesses. But hey man, I just calls them as a season.
Yeah.
But I get a lot of calls from my guys, and they're like, oh, I'm like, hey, you know what, dude, try this, and we work it out.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, as I said, just trial and error. You know how it is. That's
Hmm.
that's awesome. Uh,
Absolutely.
yeah. But let's say an angler has a newer boat and he has AGMs and he's wanting to switch to a lithium style. What kind of recommendations or guidelines does he need? I know he needs like a new charger.
Hmm.
Anything else he needs to look at? Any wiring upgrades or anything like that?
Yeah, so we'll start with the wiring upgrade. The biggest one that I've seen and heard of is that C Clear.
Yeah.
And predominantly all that is just a thicker gauge wire, so it's
Yeah.
just more easily transferred. So the power's transferred with less resistance, which is going to give you a clear picture for longer. But I mean, you don't have to have it, like
Yeah.
it's one of those deals where did you drink the Kool-Aid or not, so
Yeah.
that's all it is. But depending on the application you're going to fish, if you're like a guy that goes out on the weekends with his kids and you just want to have a good time, you don't need to spend a butt ton of money. You
Yeah.
can, I have 12 volts and 36 volts. If you have a 24-volt trolling motor that's specifically 24, kind of shot yourself in the foot a little bit because you have to buy two 12s.
Yep.
But if you have a 36 volt, I can just sell you the one battery instead of three.
Yep.
So that's going to save you some money. So if you're one of those guys, I'd always recommend just one 36 volt. With our active balancing and how that works, a 36 volt for a guy that fishes a weekend is going to be way more than enough than you'll ever, unless you're going out and like you're going down the river and you're camping and then you're coming back the next day. You might get it kind of low,
Yeah.
but it just depends. If you're fishing current and stuff, that's just expected. It's not like you're fishing flat water, or lake water, pond water, something like that. You got that constant draw, that constant
Yep.
pull. Um, and then a 12 volt for the electronics.
Yep.
I do. Our 16 volts just came in, and so did our starter batteries. So we have
Nice.
the lithium starter battery. But yeah, it just really depends. Like a weekend warrior. I always tell folks, never ever ever start your outboards off of your 12-volt lithium unless it's specifically designed to
Yep.
crank. Because if not, that's a lot of amperage and a lot of draw that's going into that BMS. And if that BMS over time, it's just going to burn out. And
Yeah.
I tell people that all the time, and I keep pulling up battery compartment doors, and I'm just like, God, boys, I've been telling you this. I've been telling you, boys. Even my pros, I told them if you're doing that and it fails, man, I'm not. You're buying the next one.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I've been preaching this to y'all. Um, Now on a tournament angler side of things, there's a different setup that I always prefer for my guys, and I give them the option when they come in. I said, hey, this is what they can do for you. A 36-volt battery. Most 36 volts can have the option to go to 24.
Right.
So with that being said, I always recommend if you're a serious tournament angler, to where like you're somebody like Josh Bertrand or Roy Hawk or Dylan Maxon or somebody that's doing this for a living. This is how they pay their bills.
Yep.
You always have to have a backup plan, especially
Oh,
if you're out
absolutely.
there. You got 3 hours to weigh in and you can't see nothing. Well, I mean, we did it years ago, but
Yeah.
these guys that are so used to it, it's like they crutch on it. Um, this is the best application for that kind of guy, for that serious tournament angler, is because if you put three 12 volts on your trolling motor, and you can use one 12 volt for your graph. I always recommend not to. If you're a
Yep.
serious tournament angler, and this is how you have to invest in your business.
Yep.
So you need, and you're expecting a return on your investment. So I always, my whole pro staff has the option of two 36s and two 12s, or three 12 100s and two 12 150s. Now, the reason I say the three 12s and the two 12s is because if there's any reason whatsoever that you lose one for some,
Yep.
manufacturer defects are a thing.
Oh yeah.
Point blank, period. I'm not going to say by any means my battery's never going to fail. I have no idea. Something silly happens, maybe something weird happened in the battery in manufacturing. I can't crack the case and look at them all. I just have to take the
Yeah.
word for it. So, But you do the 312s because if you were to lose one, you can still turn your motor down to 24 volts.
Yep.
Whereas if you had 136 volt, you just lost your motor, right?
Yep.
So now you're drifting with the wind. And
Yep.
212 volts, because at the very least you're going to run them in series or in parallel, so you're going to
Yep.
get that amazing picture from start to finish, no matter what. And if something does happen to one of those, you always have the 12 volt behind it to be able to work it out. So you're never dead in the water. You're always actively fishing. That's what I recommend for like the serious tournament anglers is that specific application. 312 volts for your trolling motor. In case one takes a dump, you can go to 24 and still have the same consistency. And 212 volts, so if something happens to one, you can still have the other one as backup at the very least.
Absolutely. And like I said, guys like they're up in the North Swing now. I mean, you're out in the Erie or one of these Great Lakes and you're 3 or 4 hours away. I mean, that could be a lifesaver there. I mean, it gets
That's right,
rough out there.
100%. Now, very, 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 very last resort, you can start your big motor off of one of the 12 volts. It will work,
Yep.
but it's not recommended. It's not something I tell people to do. If it's like, it's 35 degrees outside and you're out in the middle of nowhere and you're stuck there, yeah, take the chance. Pop it open, get it after it, get home.
Yeah, but don't make it a habit. Don't make it a habit.
Correct, yeah. Buy a starter
I got
battery.
you. Absolutely. Now I know we got quite a few kayak guys out there, and I'm one of them. Now, do you have a kind of a recommendation for kayaks? Like if he's got a trolling motor and he has some just like 2 or 3 graphs on there, a couple of graphs, is there a certain setup you kind of recommend for the kayak guys?
Yeah, so most of the kayaks, from what I understand, motors are 12 volts.
Yes.
I know that somebody just dropped a 36 volt like maybe a couple weeks ago or something like that,
Yep.
and that's the new thing.
Yep.
And so, with that being said, obviously you would need one of my 36 volt batteries to do that.
Yep.
Now, my 36 volt batteries with the active balancing, you're going to be able to probably cruise around your lake twice. You
Oh
know what
yeah.
I mean? Depending on the size, like you're not cruising on the Great Lakes twice. I'm sorry, you might get from like maybe one, maybe.
Yeah.
But but I always recommend that obviously because 36 is 36, and then you could
Yeah.
just grab our group 24. Our group it's a group 24 size, so it's not very big.
Mhm.
And you can mount it right up underneath your seats. That's the best thing about lithium is you don't have to mount it terminals up. You can lay it on its side. You
Yeah.
can lay it long ways. You can lay it any way you want. And if you put it underneath your seat, which is, I mean, some guys utilize the space, but if you're not used to utilizing the space, put your battery there, and then wherever you put your battery, now you can utilize that for a tackle box, a cooler, a day cooler, whatever, But I always recommend if you're a serious competitive kayak angler and you're running multiple graphs and you're running your trolling motor off of 12 volts as well, you would have to get the 150 just because the power is there, the fuel tank's there to be able to get you to where you need to go and how you want to fish. It's going to be there. The power is going to be there, no doubt.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, kayak stuff keeps changing. I mean, they got the big that XTR 130 looks like a John boat as big as it is. So, uh, excuse me. I think we're gonna see a trend on bigger boats, bigger kayaks. I mean,
Yeah.
it's crazy how that technology and those advancements in construction is really last couple of years has really boomed.
I think they're going to start having restrictions on boats for kayak tournaments. You know what I mean? It's got to be a
Yep.
specific weight, width, and length.
Yeah.
You got a 3 foot wide boat that's 16 foot long. That's a John boat.
Yeah.
you,
Pretty
you know what
much.
I mean? That's a
Pretty
John
much.
boat. You're not a
Pretty much.
kayak anymore. So I see that coming for sure. We are starting to dabble heavily in the kayak stuff. We're really excited about it. We have some cool things coming to the market. Um,
Nice.
we have a lot of stuff that we've been working on in house that's kind of hush hush at the moment. But when it comes out, it's going to be, some people are going to be absolutely in love with it, and some people are going to be like, yeah, well, I could do this, and I'm just going to be like, all right, well, go do
Yeah. Have
that.
fun.
Exactly. But yeah, we got some cool stuff. We actually just picked up a kayak. Our local shop here. It's called Lower Gear.
Yeah.
Mr. Dallas. He's a great, wonderful man. You can go in there and he could chit chat with you about kayaks until you just run out of stuff to talk about.
Oh wow.
And then when you're done talking, he'll just keep talking. And he's just a wonderful man. He started selling our batteries, and then we went down there. We got a kayak from him. He's got a store here in Phoenix, and he's got a store down in Havasu. and he's just a wonderful person. It's a great business, very reputable. He's got one of the gentlemen that work for him fishes professionally on the kayak series. He's fished the elite. He did the top. He made the top 10 one time. Um,
Wow.
Great guy. He still owes me a fishing trip on the canoe, Bryce. Just so you
Yep.
know, I'm calling you out. And but yeah, the kayak thing is getting really big.
Oh
If
yeah.
you don't think it's not, you're under a rock. It's definitely becoming a thing. And the thing that intrigues me the most about it, being an angler my whole life, is I can get to spots that my big boat can't.
Yep.
You know, we have a little body of water here locally in Buckeye, Arizona, which is like so like Phoenix is like this really big city, but it's a bunch of
Yep.
little cities that are
Yep.
separated by roads, right? So like I can get from here to Buckeye, or like I live halfway between here and Buckeye, and it takes me a half hour to get home, so I think about an hour or 45 minutes to get to Buckeye.
Yep.
But the Buckeye Lake, Google Earth it, it's cool. It's an old quarry, and they filled
Oh,
it in,
okay.
and it's in a river bottom,
Yep.
and it's called Hidden Lake. It used to be called Buckeye Lake. I think it's called Hidden Lake now. And they had this really big pit, and the pit got so full that they dug out a canal and it rolled over. And now there's two little ponds, but the passage to get through it's about the width of your boat, maybe a foot or two on each side to get
Wow.
back there. And dude, for a while there, they were catching some big. I mean, a Wednesday nighter there, big fish tournament, one fish weighing 13, 14 pounds.
Wow.
Pretty intense weights. And then that we have a golden algae bloom here, it seems like almost every year. And it's killing the fish. And it is what it is. You know, Mother Nature does her dig. You can't
Oh
stop
yeah.
her. She's going to do it. But it sucks when you're cruising down the lake and you see a 10-pounder floating, you know, you're just like, oh.
Oh.
But you know, like my grandpa personally, he's such a fishing advocate. He won't even go fish the lakes that are blooming because he doesn't want to pull them through it. He's just like, nah,
Yeah. Yeah.
we'll get them when it's cleared up, and you know, wintertime, go throw the big stuff and really get into them.
Nice. Nice. And you talk about kayaks. It seems like the trend here lately is like really big kayaks, like we was talking about, and then 10 footers, like throwing the back of your truck. That's kind of what I got. I got just
Yeah,
go to the
hundred
lake.
percent.
I get off to work on Friday, and they get us off a little early on Fridays, and I go to my local lake 5 minutes away and throw it out and fish for 3 or 4 hours. Have a ball.
Yeah, 100%. I think the one that we got is a 12 footer.
Yeah, yeah, that's about average.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
12 footer.
yeah. And I talking about kayaks. I mean, I went to there was a the Bass Kayak Series was in Del Hollow, and actually I was fishing another lake in Tennessee, and I had to pass through there, and they had 240 kayaks show up at it, and the bass tournament I went to had like 50, 60 boats. I'm like, she was hot now.
Yeah, well, 100%. I mean, you know, well, you know the Muse Outdoors
Yeah. Oh
guys.
yeah.
That's how
Oh
we
yeah.
got connected. I got to spend some time with them at ICAST. Those are wonderful people.
Oh
I
yeah.
love
They
them.
are. Yep.
They're just the example of what a good human being should be, and I love them dearly. And we had a great time. If you've ever met Jennifer, bring a chair because you're gonna be
Oh
talking
yeah.
for you're gonna be talking.
We've had her on the show before. Yeah.
Oh
She's
yeah,
you
yeah.
talk about passion for the sport and passion what they do. They definitely have it.
They do 100%. You know, and you know we've bounced a lot of stuff off them, you know, with kayaks and how it works and stuff like that. And you know, we just try to take advantage of all of our outlets. You know, I
Yep.
got a couple of guys here that are local that fish kind of like Bryce out of Lower Gear. You know, I bounce stuff off him. Here shortly we're going to really start getting more in depth with him on stuff, and when we start
Nice.
designing stuff, and it's going to be a blast, man. I mean, you know, in Arizona, the Salt River is huge for people that like get in tubes and take a 6 pack and just
Yeah.
hang out on the river. But it's also a really big and good fishery, and a lot of these kayak guys are starting to take advantage of it. They'll
Oh yeah.
go they won't go way up to where everybody gets in, but they'll fish down toward the bottom where the current's not as fast and the grass is really coming up, and man, they're just
Yep.
killing them on the all kinds of cool stuff. I'm not going to give out the juice, but they're just it's fun. It's just
Yeah.
it's inexpensive for a completely over the board like over the top setup in a kayak. You're looking at like $12,000, right?
Oh yeah. That's
And that's
everything.
just
Yeah.
like
That's
and that's we're ready tournament fishing tomorrow. or you can go spend 3,000, 4,000, and get something that you can build on over time. And either way, like you go buy a bass boat, unless it's used, it's minimum 75,000.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And you got to worry. I mean, still start out like I did. I mean, I just throw it back in the truck, so you don't have to worry about a trailer. I mean, you just couple straps and you're good to go. So,
That's it. Yeah, exactly. 100%.
obviously, and like I said, on my lake, a lot of local lakes around here, they're wake only. So even if the boats are out there, they can't get on pad. So it's perfect for kayaks. So
Yeah, we need some of that here. We need some of
yeah,
that here for sure. I mean, like just because of the demographics of Arizona and like just the landscape, and a lot of people are moving here, and we're getting a lot of out of state people. And
yep,
these wakeboard boats, man. I mean, my
oh
uncle
yeah,
and I were fishing a couple weeks ago, and they fill up their ballasts, and they're a foot and a half under the water just to make
oh
these
yeah,
weights. And they're 30 feet away from us. We're on the front of the boat. They're 30 feet away, and I mean, we have to literally like get on our knees and hold on. And I'm like,
yep,
I looked at my uncle. And I'm like, what are they thinking? And he looked at me and goes, they're not.
yep.
They're not.
Or they'll, or they'll do circles out in the middle of the lake, and you'll be coming through, and they're not even looking. They're not even paying attention who's coming or going. They're just
Mhm.
doing circles. Just you got to stay clear of them as far as you can. So
There's one lake here that I will not take my life vest off. I
yeah,
just won't. It's only a matter of time before I hit the drink, and hopefully I'm conscious when I do.
yeah, yeah. And it's not like freezing cold or So
Exactly,
definitely,
100%. Yep,
I
yep,
heard
yep.
that. A good deal. But yeah, talking about kayaks, I know. I just got one graph. So if, like me, I'm just starting out, and I got one little graph. You have like just a little battery, like maybe a 10 amp hour or something to kind of start off with.
I think the smallest ampere hour battery we have, Abel, that one for the little one, like the
I think it's like a 25. I think it's like a 25 amp hour.
25 amp.
Okay, good deal. I'd last for like a week.
It just depends.
Yeah, yeah.
It
I just
depends.
got a little Garmin. I don't have anything fancy, but it gets me through. So
There you go. That's all you need. I mean, you give me depth, you give me water temperature, time of year, moon phase, barometric pressure. I can
yep,
figure it out.
yeah, that's me. Yeah, just water temperature and where the structure is. Yeah, I'm good. I figured out.
See, here in Arizona, we don't have a lot of structure. You got a
Oh, okay.
stick. You got a stick that's this big around sticking up out of the water. There's 5 fish sitting on it.
Oh yeah, I got a lake around here like that. It's like 200, 300 foot deep most places, and there's like sometimes a rock shelf, and that's it. That's the only structure you got. So,
Hmm.
but sometimes it's funny though. The thermocline, you got to pay attention to that. They will like suspend in that thermocline. If there's no structure around, they will suspend. I've learned that from some of the old guys here. So,
100. It's like that here too. Just because the lack of structure. Like I was explaining to Abel the other day about thermoclines and how they work, and we went swimming. We had a after the. I think it was talking to you. I'm not sure. We went. We had a lake day. We shut down early,
yeah,
and
yeah,
we went out, and he's like, "Dude, my feet are cold, but it's warm up here." I was like, "That's a
yeah,
thermocline."
exactly. You found it.
You
That's it.
found it. Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Uh,
But I mean,
I,
there's so much like the old timers. I don't want to say old timers. Like I'm not trying to be
yeah.
saying that, but there's a lot to learn.
Oh yeah.
I think the newer generations are honestly grew up with the live scope, and that's the majority of their knowledge.
Yep.
They know how to manipulate it to where they can find the fish, and then they just throw everything until something hooks up.
Yeah. And
But
it's
and that's
amazing.
okay.
Yeah, it's amazing. You see fish how to react to the lure, and you change colors or change sizes. I mean, it's
Yep.
amazing that we didn't know all these fish is out in the middle of oblivion, just out there hanging out. So
Absolutely. Well, I mean, I think that has a lot to do with why tournament weights are starting to come up too,
yeah.
because people are finding fish where they didn't know they lived before.
Oh, absolutely. I,
Like here locally, Roosevelt, one of our lakes here locally, it's one of the best fisheries we have. And I mean, there was a tournament 3 weeks ago. I think the biggest bag one day, 5 fish, was 30 pounds.
Boo, man,
Yeah,
they
Ty,
sacked
Ty,
them. They,
Ty, you got that one.
whoo, man, I heard that. But you being in the industry as long as you have, what do you kind of see for the future? Do you see maybe lighter weights or different materials, or what do you think the future is going to hold for the battery industry?
Um, It's pretty advanced. The
Yeah.
only thing I can see, and people have already started to talk about it. I'm sure there's already a couple in development. Actually, well, isn't there one of those salt batteries already available?
I've heard some people have them.
Yeah,
I
so
haven't seen much of them
it's
yet.
gonna be a salt based battery.
Oh wow.
The salinity, I haven't done my research on it because I don't sell them, so I don't care. But
Yeah.
if there's anything that's going to change, I think that's going to be the future. Um,
Okay.
Lithium is not going to go anywhere. I don't think.
Oh,
It's such an efficient material. It's hard to get away from. I think the salt based battery does have some maintenance involved, which is going to kind of take you back to the lead acid days to where things just start to not function correctly,
yep. Yep.
just due to lack of maintenance.
Oh yeah.
I deal with that
Yep.
on a daily basis with my snowbirds.
Oh yeah.
So
That's that. And your extreme temperatures. I mean, yeah. I mean, you got some big extremes. I know you get kind of cool in the winter, don't you? At night, I say around
yeah,
there.
yeah. I have to smash up the dog water every now and again, but it's very few and far between. I mean, like right now, it should be 122 degrees outside, and it's probably only about 98 to 104 somewhere in there. So we've had
Right.
a really mild winter, considering like last year was just brutal.
Yeah.
But in the battery world, with the climate that we have, what we fight is the lack of moisture in the air. So
Oh yeah.
it's a dry heat, so it just everything evaporates so much and so fast. And I tell people, like all my snowbirds, I always refer to them because that's my life. But
Yeah.
when I tell them all the time, they ask me about summer storage and lead acid batteries and watering, and I said, if you were to fill up a glass of water and leave it on your counter with your AC on, when you get back, do you think there'd be water in that glass? The answer is no. I'm like,
Yep.
then it's the same concept with your batteries, except it's not air conditioned and you're losing it a lot faster.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And we got about two or three comments I'm gonna run through real quick here. Just Rick Amato says, "Hey Rob, sorry to hear about John. Hey Rick, good to see you, buddy. Yeah, John will be all right. He's just a temporary issue, but he's all right." And then my buddy Joseph Burflot made it. Hey Joe, Joe's big into setting up forward facing sonar or whatnot in Louisiana. He's done some for some elite guys, so he's a sharp guy.
Nice.
Said Florida 36 plus a few weeks ago. Dang, Rick, that's a sack.
Yeah, it is.
Y'all got some giants down there, man. You and Texas definitely got it going on right now. And then
100%.
yep. And then Joseph got a question. Says, do you sell any lead acid refurbishing supplies aside and testers?
So the that's a great question. The refurbished side of things on the lead acid batteries is it's a band-aid, it's not a fix.
Yep.
I don't promote that because people are like, oh, they're refurbished. I'm gonna get another 3 years. You're gonna get another 6 to 10 months.
Yeah.
Like
If you're lucky.
that's about all they're good for. So I always
Yeah.
highly recommend, like I understand if you're balling on a budget and it's like you have to, then yeah, I have a guy's phone number. I'll send you down there. That's what he does. He does a great job.
Yep.
Um, Testing supplies for lead acid batteries, I always recommend Harbor Freight. That's
Yep.
what we use on our trucks. We trust their stuff. You just get yourself a little battery tester. It's a load tester. It's
Yeah.
specifically a load tester, so you can test the load. Um, you just have to make sure that it's dialed right. It's an analog little deal, so you just want to make sure that when you're not on anything, it's at zero because you could get falsified information. It's very easy to mess that up. Or a hydrometer. Hydrometers are a
Yep.
really big part. Now, keep in mind, a hydrometer test is not going to tell you how much life you have in your battery. It just tells you state of charge at that exact moment. That's why
Right.
we always tell people if you are going to test with the hydrometer, you always do it right after a charge so that you can see the health of the individual cell. Because the
Right.
cells on a lead acid, they all don't flow together. They are sealed off. Each individual cell is its own deal. So the water doesn't flow between the batteries. So you could have one cell that's doing amazing and the one right next to it could be doing poor. And people are
Yep.
always confused and they're like, well, how is that possible? I said, well, each cell is each individual slot. So they're not really communicating or talking. They are connected, obviously, with lead, but that's it.
Yeah. Yeah. I tell a lot of people like that. It's like you got four C batteries altogether.
Hmm.
So it's kind of the same thing. You might have one bad one that's going to drag down everything. So,
Correct. Yep. Accurate.
yeah, definitely. Uh, but yeah, it's amazing how much technology has come around. And like I said, we just see constant innovations and stuff, but it's pretty
Absolutely.
amazing.
Absolutely.
Amazing.
When we came out with the active balancing, we're as far as I know, we're the only marine battery that has it in there.
Nice.
And it just changes everything. For it to kick on every 60 minutes for 10 seconds and keep every cell inside that battery within 3 millivolts of each other, it's just the benefit from it is just astronomical. Like, that's why we didn't realize how much it was going to impact the amp draw ratio, like how
Yep.
fast, and that's why they're outperforming any expectation that we had.
Nice.
And
I
I say that with confidence.
Nice. And another question I think I had one of my friends ask. Now, like I said, if you're a weekend warrior, you're working all week and you're just fishing on the
Yeah.
weekends. Typically, what's the lifespan of just a typical, like a 12-volt lithium battery? What are you looking at time wise to before you have to replace it?
So that's a great question, kind of a trick question.
Yep.
It really depends on the makeup of the battery. Like
Okay.
there's like we talked about last time. There's prismatic cells, there's cylindrical cells, there's active balancing, non-active balancing. The makeup of the battery itself is going to really justify the length and duration of the life of the battery.
Right.
Our batteries, just because I know them inside out, I can speak for them. They come first and foremost with an 8-year warranty, right? So
Nice.
you have 5 years free replacement. So you go into our app, you're having issues with your battery, you go into the app, you take a screenshot, you send it into our website. Myself or Abel or my dad or my sister, we're a family owned business. We're gonna see it, we're gonna diagnose it, and say, hey, you know what? Something's wrong. We're going to send you a battery. You put the old one back in the box, send it back to us, and it's not like everybody else where you send it back and then we want to take a look at it and test it. See, now you're out of a battery for 2 3 weeks. That's
Yeah.
just that was a big problem we had on our end as not as a distributor but as the wholesaler, and it really tweaked us. So we want to make that as easy as possible. But I mean, 8-year warranty, right? 5-year free replacement.
Wow.
Something goes wrong, here's your new one. Send back the old one, and then the last 3 years are prorated. The proration's just to cover the cost of the battery, basically, just because we don't know what's going on. It might not be a warrantable issue, but we're going to take it upon ourselves and trust the fact that there's something wrong, and make the exchange. Our batteries should last anywhere from 12 to 15 years.
Wow. Nice, man. They can't beat that. And that warranty, man, that's great. I mean, you definitely believe in your product and stand behind it.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, my dad's always been a salesman, right? That's always been his deal. And he is, if you don't believe in your product, you're not going to be able to sell it. So don't sell
Yep.
something that you don't believe in, because you're not going to sell it. You're just going to drive around aimlessly all day and not sell anything. But like when I walk into these boat shops and I walk into these RV stores and I'm telling them about this battery and active charging and the cell makeup and how they're manufactured, and people are just like, oh, because other guys don't do that. They walk in and like, hey, here's my price sheet. Call me if you need anything.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then when you have a problem, yeah, just email me. We'll get back to you.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
Been there, been there.
That's exactly right.
Yep. But and then number third quick question, terminal care. I know you try to keep your terminals. Do you put any like coating or anything? You suggest anything terminal wise? Do anything special, or just kind of keep it dry and clean?
Trade secret, pro tip. Now with lithium, you're not going to have the corrosion buildup unless you're in like the salty air
Yeah.
atmosphere. That's what's really going to get it, is the air. It's not going to be the actual battery itself. So corrosion on the lead acid side of things, the corrosion buildups from when the battery's gassing, which is at the
Yep.
end of the charge, and it's just relieving pressure because internally they boil. That's the osmosis with the lead and everything.
Yep.
And that's what that is, right? You get that mustard turquoisey looking stuff
Yep.
gunk buildup. Um, that's all that is. It's the acid that gassed out that turned into like an air, or
Yep.
I don't know what to call a gas, obviously,
Yep.
and then
Yep.
turns into a solid. And that's the corrosion, is when it turns into the solid. So on lithiums, you don't really deal with that. But pro tip: if there's any Navy guys out there, they already know what I'm going to say. Any kind of petroleum jelly, because
Yep.
all you got to do is make it airtight, right?
Yep.
A lot of these guys out there, you go to like your Checkerato or your Pet Boys or your Napa, and they have that spray.
Yep.
That works too. But when it gets hot, it just kind of like disappears because it just gets liquidy and falls off. They do make an acrylic based spray. That's what we use here on all golf carts. So whenever you spray it on there, you're done with the job. Test drive it, come back, and it's already shelled on there. It's just sealed. That's another thing you can use too. But petroleum jelly is a household item that almost everybody has. Just slap some of that on in there, and just keep in mind when it gets hot, it is gonna end up on the floor or wherever you park it. It's gonna end up on the ground. So, but yeah,
Yeah.
that's just a pro tip right there.
That's funny you say that. My dad was a Navy C-130 mechanic, and I remember as kids him having petroleum jelly and putting it on the
Yep.
battery. So
Yep.
yeah, I can relate to that. So that is old Navy trick. So
That's right.
pretty cool.
A lot of submarine mechanics that retire out here in Arizona.
Oh yeah, them boys lived and died on batteries out there. I
That's
guarantee you.
right.
Yep. And got a couple more questions real quick. Mr. Greg Bogan. Hey Rob, how's everything going? Going good, Greg. Just trying to stay cool. It's a little warm out here for sure. I know,
Amen.
Bo, you got a little warm weather out there.
It's warm, yes, sir.
Yep. And then my buddy Joe said, "You're not kidding, buddy. Most retail shops, even installers, really don't understand what's going on with these things actually work, even when it comes to wire sizes, length of runs, and current draw." Agreed.
Yeah, it's huge. It really is. I mean, it makes up such a big part of the application to understand, like, not only understand how the battery works, but how the amp draw works. You know,
Oh yeah.
like if I go up to you and like everybody knows they want a high ampere hour battery, but you ask them what is the ampere hour, and they're like, I don't know. I just know I need a lot of it. You
A
know,
little overkill.
exactly. I mean, like your average trolling motor, or like not trolling motors pull, they draw a lot. They're like 30
Oh yeah.
40, but not 30 or 40, they're like 15 to 20. But like on your graphs, especially on a forward facing graph, you're looking at 7 to 12 ish
Yep.
depending. And you have to keep in mind, for every amps drawn is the ampere hour, right? So if you have 150 ampere hours and you're pulling 3 amps, that's 3 amps an hour. 3 divided by 12, that's only what, 7 hours, 8
Yep.
hours.
Yep.
So it just depends on how you fish. That's why I always say, you put the two in parallel for the pros, because they got live wells, bilge, they got it all
Yeah.
going. That's a lot of draw. I mean, it's a little bit from each one, but if you add it all up, it's quite a bit.
Yeah, like I said, and like Joe said, even like your wire, I know a lot of the pros always upgrade their wiring to thicker gauge and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, there's a lot of little factors on that as well. Absolutely.
100%. Like everything inside of our batteries, if it has a wire on it, is a 6 gauge wire.
Awesome. Man,
Everything
can't
is
beat
six
that.
gauge.
Can't
Yep.
beat that. And then buddy Rick Amato says I use dielectric grease. Yeah, good stuff, man. That's
Same thing.
I've used quite a bit. Get the little pro packs at the auto
Yeah.
parts store.
Yeah, they
and
do.
and then Joe says, "LOL, petroleum jelly for preventing corrosion and making it easier when the big ones get off." Yeah, meant that too.
Yeah. Dual purpose.
Yeah, it happens. It happens.
Yep.
But kind of going off subject a little bit. Do you ever see like the automotive industry cranking batteries going to the lithium instead of the lead acid like they got now? You think that's something in the future we're going to see?
I do. I do see that coming. It just lithium is tough, right? So
Yep.
a lot like an everyday driver, truck, car, it's gonna do fine. It's gonna do absolutely fine on a gas engine.
Yep.
The only thing you'd have to change is you don't necessarily have to change the alternator, but you are going to have to put a DC to DC charger on there so that the
Yep.
algorithm for the lithium will work. Um, but like the Teslas and all that stuff, they use those cylindrical cells,
Yep.
and that's gonna be the purpose for the electric vehicles, because you can fit more of them, so you get the ampere hour, so that you get the draw, so that you can have the long distances.
Yep.
Like I don't recommend anybody taking a Tesla on a cross country cruise or cross country drive. You know what I mean? You can do it, but I mean you have to find the fast chargers, and then you have to have all these different attachments to fit these different
Yep.
chargers. Is it like my dad bought an electric truck and he had it for 2 weeks and it was already in the shop?
Wow.
And I said, I told you.
I don't want to say I told you, but I told you.
That's right.
Yeah, you like me. It's hard to get one over on Dad. When you do, you got to, kind of
He
Put it
knows
on
it.
your calendar. Oh yeah,
He knows it.
absolutely. Now I have seen what was it, on iCast? They had some they had a boat with like the electric motors. They're having I'm starting to see more and more electric outboards now. I mean on a smaller scale, but I think
Hmm.
that's kind of interesting.
It is interesting. I mean, like, yes, it's gonna be the same thing as the Teslas. It's gonna be
Yep.
the same application. I don't see. I'll never have one on my boat, and I have a battery business.
Yep.
If I could have a two-stroke, I'd have a a
Yeah.
two-stroke.
Two,
You know what I mean?
two strokes pretty strong still. I see a lot of them out there still.
Oh, I know. We were fishing the Thursday nighter a couple weeks ago, and this guy had this little 115, man, and he was. I was like, "Get some."
And then another plus, you got all the smoke to keep the mosquitoes down. So
That's
another
right.
plus.
That's right. Out here in Arizona, man, we got bad bug problem at night.
Oh man,
It's
I
bad,
can. Oh yeah, I can imagine.
especially
and
fishing toolies.
oh yeah, absolutely. And then let's see, got a quick comment from Joseph. Got to put those 300 HO big motors to work with that DC to DC charging. Them puppies stay topped off.
They
Yeah,
do.
pretty
They
strong.
do. So there's a lot of chargers that have that built in. Like a great example would be the power pole charger. You turn your big motor on. The way that it works, I'm not sure if I got into it last time, but I'm gonna go over it again for people that are
Yeah,
watching
yeah,
now.
sure.
So the way that a DC to DC, and we have them, but the way the DC to DC charger works is your alternator on your big motor is running, and it pushes out about 13 and a half to 14 volts, depending on every boat's different, right?
Right.
Wiring, gauge of wire, whatever it may be. So once it gets over 13.4 volts, and this is our specific charger, once it gets over 13.4, it actually passes through the starter battery into the charger and then starts trickling into your 12 volts for electronics, and it keeps them topped off.
Right.
Now, this comes into play when you're cruising around scanning. Obviously, that's going to keep your batteries charged up, because not only are you using your graph, but you're charging the batteries. So you're pushing and pulling at the same time. So it kind of like balances it out. So you're not really
Yeah.
losing a charge. You're just kind of keeping it where it was before you started.
Right.
Um, and I think it's a wonderful thing to have. I think it's important for like a serious tournament angler, especially when you're fishing a new body of water. I mean, you spend the first day of practice scanning, right? You're just looking
Yep.
for you're looking for the ledges, you're looking for the creek channels, you're looking for the hard rocks, you're looking for the rock bottoms, you're looking for the ledges, you're looking for the laydowns. Is the hard bottom, is this soft bottom? Like you're trying to figure the lake out. So the only way to see is to use your graphs.
Well, definitely. And like I said, those guys in practice for these big tournaments, they're out 2 or 3, 4 days out there just scanning,
Yep. Yep.
putting waypoints out. So
I was
absolutely.
listening to a different podcast, a serious angler, and
Yeah.
they were talking to a guy, and he straight up said, he goes, I have scanned almost every square inch of the St. Clair.
Yep.
And I'm like, that's a lot. That's a
That's a lot.
lot.
That's a
That's a
lot.
lot. But I'm pretty sure it was his home lake, though.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. But like I say, I remember, when I first started out, you had, paper maps and you had to triangulate and you'd find these little secret spots. But, technology is so good and mapping's so good now that everybody knows, the hot spots. So, I
Like,
mean, it's,
you got a topographical map on your graph now.
yeah, yeah,
So
absolutely. And then you got waypoints, there's a rock pile,
that's right.
I mean, it ain't no searching around like in old days. There's a tree and there's a barn and, so
Absolutely.
definitely,
Like
definitely.
there's stuff that I used to fish as a kid. Um, our closest lake to us was Lake Pleasant,
Yep.
and it's fed in through the CAP. So
Yeah.
the water control is all through the city. So it's more of like a reservoir for like the
Yeah.
city than it is a lake, but
Yep.
it's a great fishery. So way back in the day because Arizona is just one big gold field, right? Like
Yep.
there's gold mines everywhere. I do it myself. I'll go out there, beep beep beep. I'll run whatever. And way back in one of the coves, there's these three old mining houses. And back in the day, we didn't know they were there. The water was low enough one year, and I'm like, Dad, look at that.
Yeah.
And he's like, what is that? I was like, I don't know. It's like a house. And when the water came back up, we kind of landmarked it. Like, okay, the
Oh, yeah.
busted tree, Saguaro with 5 arms. You know what I mean? Like something like along those lines to try to get it picked up. Now everybody and their brother knows about it because of downscan and forward facing.
Oh, absolutely. I said TVA's like that. We used to live in Knoxville, all the TVA lakes. They'd draw them down 20, 30, 40 foot, and you see house foundations and creek channels and stuff. And,
Mm-hmm.
but I said all of it's on the map now. So, I mean, used
That's
to I
right.
take pictures and, oh, this is that
Yeah.
mile marker so and so, but I don't have to worry about that
Yeah.
anymore. So,
I'm about to
tell
age
'em,
myself, but the cameras we use, you just have to wind up. Zip, zip, zip,
yep,
zip, zip. Tick.
had 'em done that for sure. And got a quick comment from Mr. Rick Amato. He said Teslas are a firefighter's nightmare. I've heard.
The rumor.
Yeah, I've heard that. So pretty neat. But yeah, I mean it's amazing. Like I said, when you come out with your kayak stuff, you have to come back on. 'Cause I know there's a bunch of kayak guys that like to be on the
Oh,
cutting edge, and I'm one of them. So
I'd love to. It'd be my absolute pleasure. I would. It's gonna be pretty cool. It's gonna.
cool.
I think it's gonna change a lot of the way that people kayak, whether you're a serious kayak fisherman or you're just out there for the weekends, or like yourself. You go
Yep.
after work on a Friday, and
Yeah.
it's gonna be cool. We're really excited about it.
Yeah, because motor's my next upgrade. Because I'll paddle way out and I'll be going against the waves. I say, okay, well it'll push me back, and either the wind will stop or the winds will change, and I'm paddling against the wind again. So
That's okay. We just gotta do push-ups anymore.
that's true. Get some exercise. So
Yeah.
make my wife and doctor happy at the same time.
There you go. Everybody
Yeah,
wins.
everybody wins. That's true. Now, do you ever see like on grass? I thought about this every night that they'll have a self-contained battery at one point. I thought about that. On smaller grass. I mean, not on the big stuff.
I think I don't know. I don't see that happening. I don't
Yeah.
see where like you could like on a drone battery, you just plug it in there and then you're good to
Yeah.
go. I think the amp draw that it takes to run a graph, especially like with all the microprocessors and the screen
Oh yeah.
itself and everything, I don't see it as possible. I mean, I'm not
Yeah.
saying it's not possible. I mean, there's a bunch of things I never thought I'd ever see in my life, and I've seen them. So
Yep.
it's just it's I don't if it does come out, I know how much I would trust it because
Yeah.
now you're bringing six more batteries with you to keep replacing them whenever they die. You know,
Yep.
like
And
flying a
especially
drone.
like you're on a day like today when you're in like upper 90s, how stress, put how much stress that puts on the battery. So you'll be,
Yep.
yeah, you would be changing out. If it's like a perfect world and it's 60 degrees, yeah, probably, but never
Yeah.
happens.
I don't see that. Yeah, no. Unless you're like in Canada where it's like beautiful all the time, then maybe.
Yeah, for half a day maybe.
Yeah, it's half a day. Yeah.
That's true. But and kind of we're getting close to the end. But do you have any tips like for guys that's just now got lithium and they're kind of care tips? Do you keep the
Yeah.
temperature kind of cool? Wrap it or anything? There's some good tips for guys to take care of their batteries, I guess you'd say.
Yeah. So first and foremost is if you can charge it after every use.
Yep.
It's important. It keeps not only does it keep the cells balanced, it also keeps them more in working order. They like to be charged. They like to be discharged too. I mean that's what they're
Yep.
designed to do. But they definitely do like to stay charged. The more charged they stay, the more efficient it's going to be. The longer life you're going to get out of them. Um, Pro tip for guys that are like in the Midwest and on the East Coast: when it gets cold and you don't have a heater installed, store them in the house.
Yep.
That's big. They will freeze, and when they freeze, they're done. It's
Yep.
not a warrantable situation. You know what I mean? It's they'll call it a maintenance flaw.
Yep.
Stuff like that. Um, Here's a good one. Lithium. When you're charging, when you're buying your batteries and you're looking for your lithium, and you have it, you bought your battery. Um, the amps, or excuse me, the amps that are being pushed into the battery are important.
Yep.
You don't want a 5 amp charger or a 10. The lowest minimum you want is a 15 amp.
Yep.
Now, saying that, if you were to go and you buy, let's say you buy a 2 leg charger because you got 12s and over here you got 3 12s over here and you got a 12 over there, and you
Right.
got your 3 12s over here on one lead, and it's a 15 amp charger. Each battery's only getting 5 amps, so your
Right.
15 amp just turned into a 5 amp. some people don't understand that, and I think it's important to know because an overnight charge that should take 5 hours is now taking 20.
Yeah.
And they're gonna people are like, what's going on? What's the deal? That's the deal. Their amperage, like me personally, like all of our chargers that we sell are 15,
Right.
or 10. And it's just because the manufacturer that we had was they haven't really made a better one yet. There's only a few people that develop and make these things, so
Right.
just we're all buying from the same person, right? There's no
Basically,
secret.
yeah.
There's no secret to that.
Yeah.
But I mean, for someone to come out with something a little bit better and that they did it themselves, right? With that being said, the human error aspect of it's a little higher because if it's a in your garage situation, that changes things.
Oh yeah.
Not a lot of people to back that up. You know, your boat catches fire and a guy built it in his garage. Your insurance is going to be like, yeah, I don't know what to tell you.
uh, have a good luck. We dropped your insurance. Have a nice day. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's how that goes.
yeah. Call me in a year.
Yeah. Don't call us. We'll call you.
Exactly. 100%. Yes.
Absolutely,
Absolutely.
absolutely. But
Mhm.
got a quick comment from my buddy David Archibald. Said, "Hey guys, damn good topic. Gonna have to replay it." Absolutely, David. And we'll have up on YouTube. So anybody wants to replay it, more than
Yeah.
welcome. And absolutely.
And
But
everybody out there, you know, if you have any questions that I haven't gone over or you watch this and you have questions, feel free to give us a call. VoltaPowerLithium.com. You can send us a message. It comes directly to my phone as like a text message, and I can sit there and chit chat with you there. Or you can just give us a call. You're probably going to get my sister. She doesn't know a lot about the lithium, but she can get you and just get a hold of somebody that does.
yeah, she'll get the answer for you.
Yeah, she's the office lady.
Oh, I got you. I got you. So it did. David's got another quick question. He says, I was going to ask if you think a 10 amp per bank charger will do the job okay.
It will. It 100% will. There's nothing against it. It's just the lower the amperage, the longer it's going to take to charge.
Yep,
And then
absolutely.
if you have a 10 amp on two batteries, you have a 5 amp. So just make
Yep.
sure that you're aware of what's going on and you'll be just fine. Now
Okay.
don't put like a 30 amp charger on there because some got problems.
Yeah, yeah, you're overfilling it.
Exactly. 20 amps is about the highest I would go. Like for
Yep.
my golf cart lithium, we have 20 amp chargers, but it's because it's a 36 volt and it's a way different application.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, talk about that. I had a Harley one time, and the voltage regulator went out. I didn't know it,
Oh,
and yeah, I was on the Dragon down in Tennessee. 311 current. I got to all the way to North Carolina, wouldn't start. I'm like, and I don't know, it's no carb bike, and looked, and I was like, oh, and the battery is already like pumped and out. I was like, ee, and had an old school guy with me say, oh man, you got a carb bike, we can push it off. I'm like, you sure? Sure enough, it pushed off, and I like, well, I'll make it back to Dragon. I know where the Harley dealer is, Maryville. And I got through all the way to Dragon and started sputtering, and I pulled over. I had a free tow of my motorcycle association. So, but yeah, the guy had to cut the battery out of the frame because it pumped it out because the
I've
voltage
seen that.
regulator went out. So
I
that
see
happened.
that in sealed batteries a lot. Like I've literally
Yeah,
pulled one battery out and then one next to it was so like compacted it
yeah,
came out. I pulled out one and two came out.
yeah,
I'm like,
yeah,
this is
yeah.
not okay.
I've had that in fire alarms. One gets so hot, it'll like melt the plastic, and you got it's just like
Yep.
they're sealed,
Hmm.
melted together. I've had that happen. But good deal. But for folks that want to purchase your batteries or find out more about it, how can they website or local dealer? How can they find out?
Absolutely. So obviously we want to support our dealers. So if you live anywhere that's not Arizona, call around to see if anybody has them. If not, you can go to voltapowerlithium.com. We do ship any order over $100, which is all of our batteries, ships for free,
Nice.
and we'll get it out to you. It's going to come via FedEx. So if you live in a place where FedEx isn't available, find a buddy that they do accept FedEx. I know some of y'all live on these 3 mile dirt road driveways, and FedEx is like, yeah, no, I'm not going down there. But yeah, VoltaPowerLithium.com. If you live in Arizona, we always recommend going down to Copper State Marine and Tackle. Those guys down there are amazing people. You walk in there, their staff's very knowledgeable. In my opinion, they got one of the best boat mechanics in the state. Go down there,
Nice.
check them out. They've some for the same price we do, so you're just basically saving shipping, and you get to make a friend. Other than that, you can always look up our socials. It's always at Volta Power USA, Instagram, Facebook, whatever. We do have an app. It's a
Nice.
BAB TV app. We have a show that's every Friday. It's BAB. It's me talking to local anglers,
Nice.
and just trying to expand the fishing industry in Arizona. It's already big because we can fish
Oh,
year
yeah.
round. But there's a lot of people, like when COVID hit, there was a lot of people that started venturing out and doing
Oh, yeah.
outdoorsy stuff. And some of the guys are like, hey, it was fun, but I don't get anything out of it anymore. So if I can bring people onto the show and explain seasonal patterns, like last week I had a pair of brothers that qualified for the Junior Bassmasters from here, local Arizona. They went all the way
Nice.
over to somewhere way over by you guys, and I just wanted to interview them and just talk to them about their journey, how they got started. Like the ups, the downs. Especially at that age. You go and you
Yeah.
zero out at a tournament, and they're just like, they're heartbroken, and
Oh,
they're
yeah.
young, and they're so full of like want, and I want, and drive and passion. And then dad and grandpa are there. They're just like, hey, we got into the next one. Let's go. We got
Yep.
the next one. Start prepare. Let's go.
Yep.
And
Exactly.
they smashed it at Havasu. I mean, they had an absolute epic day. I had their dad and their grandpa was here with them because they're younger. They're like one's a freshman and one's in 8th grade. So I
Oh,
was like,
nice.
if y'all, I need some parental consent when y'all come down here. But
Definitely.
old Papa brought him down, and man, he's their last day at Havasu was just amazing. And the juniors, you can have a spectator and your captain, so you have two people in the boat. So
Nice.
their captain was their dad, and their spectator was their grandpa. And they got on this swim bait bite on these long points down in Havasu, and they were calling fish, like they were like, which one's bigger? And then they had fish on, like they were just had this epic day of fishing, and
Wow.
it was so wonderful to hear that they got to experience that with dad and grandpa. And it's just like that's what fishing's all about for me, is the
Absolutely.
memories. Like, yeah, it's great to catch a big fish. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, you put it up on your socials. You're like, yeah, what's up? But when you can go out there and you can have just a magical day like that, that's a day none of those boys are gonna forget. Their dad, they're
Absolutely.
never gonna forget that day ever. They're gonna tell their grandbabies about that day. Well, back in my day, me and grandpa, man, let me tell you about this. And then for me, that's what it's anything outdoors, whether it's fishing, hunting, whatever it is. I mean, that's what it's all about.
Absolutely. Like making memories, man. Spot on. You was right on it.
That's right. Making memories. That's right.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, Bo, man, it's always a pleasure. Like I said,
Yeah.
when you get your kayak stuff, come on back, and we like to hear about your kayak line coming out, and I'm excited about it. So,
Oh yeah.
but,
100%.
but man, we always enjoy having you on. We always learn, and man, just continued success to you and your family, and
Thank you.
we we'll definitely talk again. And man, I really appreciate you coming on.
Absolutely, man. Anytime. You just let me know. I'm here.
All right, good deal, man. Well, with that, guys, we're done. I think for the week. I think we may have a podcast Saturday, but tune in. Now, when's your podcast? You said Friday nights.
Yeah, Fridays. You go to Facebook. It's BAB TV. We only stream it on Facebook. We're working on doing the whole YouTube thing. That's just it's just filling in some stuff when we go
Yep,
live, and I don't do that. I'm just the face. They do everything else. But yeah, come on in, man. We interact with the people that are in there. We take the questions. We want to know what people are wanting to see, and it helps me bring the people that you want to see on the show.
absolutely. And what time is that? Is that Mountain Time?
Yeah, we are standard. We are Central Time, right? So we're
Oh,
Standard
okay,
Mountain. So we're we're
okay,
we're the one that never changes. No
nice.
clock dialing here.
Yep.
And it's 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock every
Okay,
Friday our time. So it would be 6 o'clock your time.
6, I think.
Six.
Yeah,
Six
I know. I
o'clock.
know. We're 3 hours
You're
behind.
three.
California's 3 hours behind us.
Yeah, and we're at the same time as California right now.
Okay, okay. So that'd be 6. That'd be 6
Six
our time.
six
Okay.
o'clock. Yep.
Well, good deal, man. I'll definitely check it out, man. I said I
I
appreciate you
appreciate it.
coming on.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. Anytime. You guys ever have any questions, you know where to find me.
All right. Well, thanks, Bo, with that. Everybody have a good night. And John, hope you get feeling better. And
Yes.
David, I know David's watching. I know his mom's having some health issues. So prayers up for your mom there, David. And hope all's well. And everybody have a good week. Go wet a line. And thanks again, Bo.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you.
All right, man. Talk to you a little bit.
Take
See you
care.
guys. All
Bye.
right. Bye.